just announce this is a special meeting. It's Wednesday, December 15th. It's 8:25 p.m. And as a new meeting, we'll have to have a roll call. So will you please?
Yes, Mayor Peak,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith, Councilmember Emilio,
Here.
Councilmember Coletti,
Here.
Councilmember McAdams is absent. Councilmember Baduri,
Here.
Councilmember Tomlinson,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
And Madam City Clerk, the Mayor Pro Tem is unable to attend the second part of the meeting. He sent me a note.
Thank you.
Okay, motion to approve the agenda, one agenda item, please.
So moved.
And a second. Okay. Councilmember Peduri is second, and a vote, please.
Councilmember Coletti,
Aye.
Councilmember Baduri,
Aye.
Mayor Peak,
All right.
Councilmember Emilio,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0-3 with Mayor Pro Tem Smith, Councilmember McAdams absent. Sorry, 5-0-2.
Yes. All right, sounds good. Thank you. We have one item. It's 3A, concept review on solicited request for sale of the city parking lot. Mr. Harvey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No PowerPoint presentation with this item this evening. This is just a very simple concept review item. The city received an unsolicited letter, which is attached to the agenda report from the owners of 529 Central, interested in the possibility of potentially acquiring the parking lot adjacent to their property for the purpose of creating a mixed-use project. We, staff, have not undertaken any discussions with the group about the project. We just simply asked that if they were interested, that they simply submit a letter, which we would bring to the city council for consideration, and that is all that has been done at this point. I'm willing to answer any questions. That's the end of my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have public comment?
Yes, Lisa Ciani, you have the floor.
Welcome.
Thank you. The city's commitment to transparency is not apparent in this agenda item. Last Friday afternoon, the single closed session agenda item immediately following the regular agenda was titled Conference with Real Property Negotiators, and it regarded the property at 529 Central Avenue with Craig Riddell negotiating for I&P Brothers LLC concerning price and terms of payment. The city manager and city attorney were to be negotiating for the city. On Monday afternoon, the closed session item was deleted. On Tuesday afternoon, a special meeting agenda was posted with the current agenda item and a brief agenda report with an attached proposal letter. The proposal letter is undated and ends with an unfinished sentence, written apparently hurriedly by Craig Riddell for the new owners of 529 Central, whom he does not identify. However, the agenda report identifies Mr. Riddell as the agent for the owners of the PG Hotel project, although their names were not given. Was the proposal letter written last August or yesterday? What's been happening since August, and why the emphasis on an unsolicited request to purchase the publicly owned parking lot? I hope you agree that the agenda report is not transparent. Why doesn't it make clear the connection between the I&P Brothers LLC and the new owners of 529 Central Avenue and the owners of the PG Hotel project? Where is a simple diagram showing the property and parking lot under consideration to clarify that there are two adjoining parking lots? And where is a simple explanation that the adjoining parking lot adjacent to Ricketts Row is committed as part of the inadequate parking provided for the PG Hotel, formerly called Hotel Durrell? Recommendation number 2 says if consensus exists, provide direction to staff to commence negotiations. Will council actually seek consensus or will council settle for a majority decision? Why does the agenda report say, quote, there is no financial impact in conducting a concept review, end quote, when the recommendation is for negotiations? Please do not consider negotiations until there's been a chance for adequate public notice to the public to weigh in after reading a fully developed agenda report. Sale of the public's land is a significant public concern, and we're not getting the information we need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anthony Ciani, you have the floor.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. The technical word for this is goofy. The whole thing is goofy. Why was the proposal on December 15th first listed as a closed session item and then deleted? And then the entire agenda for today's hearing disappeared. It vanished. And a few hours later, it came back with this item deleted. And then the next day, this item came back as you're hearing it now. That's goofy. Should the city consider its resources squander its resources negotiating a price and terms for an L-defined proposal? This proposal is goofy too. It's proposing to use parking spaces on a parcel that was part of a use permit granted to the Hotel Durrell. Does that make sense? Is this agent for Hotel Durrell, PG Hotel, whatever it is, and 529 Lighthouse working for them all together? Is there not some sort of internal conflict there? If one of those property owners doesn't like disputes what the other property owner is doing, how is that supposed to get resolved? Are we supposed to be in the middle of that? We, the city? I think the idea for an alternative exists. And the idea for the alternative is don't make piecemeal negotiations and deals when you should be really looking at a comprehensive plan for how to accommodate all of PG's assets, all of its lands, all of its resources. And that comprehensive plan should be part of the general plan update that the Planning Commission is doing. And then this project should be considered within the umbrella of a comprehensive plan, not some ill-defined, goofy idea. And the idea that this doesn't cost any money, is the city manager's time not worth anything? Is the city clerk's time not worth anything? Do we not pay the city attorney for their negotiating time? It doesn't make sense. Don't do this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Inga Lawrence and Doimer, you have the floor.
Welcome.
Thank you. Well, those are some interesting words, and I'm going to say the inserted toothpick did not come out clean. This is half baked. It's not even a quarter baked. It's a letter that really says nothing, talking about putting housing on a parking lot. Talk about a water meter. Hello. And to have all these machinations that it is now in an open session agenda report. Well, thank you for that, because if you had negotiated something like this behind closed doors, I think that you would be in really big trouble. So it's sort of like, hey, this needs to go back to whatever drawing board it came from, be fleshed out, be brought back, and have some substance to it, because this has absolutely no substance. It is not even the letter is finished. I mean, this is crazy. Half-baked. Well, don't you be half-baked. Just turn this down and say, come back when you're ready. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bob Oliver, you have the floor.
Welcome.
Mayor, council members that are left for the evening. In 1986, the Pacific Grove School District was in deep financial straits, brought up the statement that they were several $100,000 in debt, but by the time the public asked for an audit, we found that it was 1.5 million and climbing during the audit. It appeared that there were some people that got together in this fair town thinking that they were going to increase the downtown district by selling off the Robert Downs School, for which a group of citizens came together and found that the school had a $1 million historical renovation grant. And that kind of took the school off the chopping block because it represented $1 million to the public and to the district. So the district went after David Avenue School, declared 7 acres surplus property. They got away with that. The audit happened. That money was supposed to go pay for the audit. The 7 acres were being sold for less than $1 million. And eventually everybody kind of lost interest, thinking that things were being resolved. Later to find out that an additional 7 acres, not including the building sites, was going to be sold off also. At that point in time, people realized that the whole acreage was 14 total, and that 7 sold before and 7 to be sold meant all 14 was being sold. And therefore the building sites would be gone also. So that made it into the newspaper, but not in that form. And as a group, a body of people that came together, we were able to keep the David Avenue School from being sold off to developers. Yet there were people within the city government that were responsible. And this is a story that the general public has never heard. But I was there and I prevented them from selling the David Avenue School. So whether this is a goofy situation or not, I like what was originally said. Let's see some transparency. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kim Aikman, you have the floor.
Welcome.
Hi, this is Tom Aikman, not Kim. I'm just using her computer tonight. I'm a little out of my field here because I try to confine myself to environmental issues where I've got a lot of experience, a lot of concerns, and a lot of experience. But as a longtime resident here, I know how valuable the downtown parking is, and the parking lots are very used a lot. To give one up, I think, is a very big deal. I think it's ill-advised, but if the council thinks that it could be done, then I think you should put the property up for bids. I mean, these folks may be the only folks interested in doing something other than a parking lot there, but there may be dozens of others that have good ideas for how to utilize that property that might pay us a city an awful lot more money for it. So I think, number one, I think it's ill-advised to give up any city parking downtown. I think all those lots are at times fully utilized and very important. But if you do want to give one up, I think you really should put it up for bids and see what else is out there and not just the first person to come along with a thought. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dawn, you have the floor.
Welcome.
You'll need to unmute yourself, Dawn.
Hold on a sec. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello, Your Honor. My name is Don Desai. I'm one of the partners in INP Brothers LLC, which owns the 529 Central Building. And it wasn't our intent to not have the letter that was submitted, not published. So it seems like the public doesn't know what our intent is. So I don't know if I'm allowed to speak or.
Please speak.
Oh, okay. So for 3 to 4 months, we've been trying to have the council hear our proposal that can we offer a couple of affordable units and purchase this parking lot where we would build like condominiums. So bring housing into the city per the zoning codes without asking any density bonus. And in lieu, offer 2 affordable units. And we just want council to be like hearing our proposal, that's all. Oh, I'm done.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Craig Riddell, you have the floor.
Welcome.
Hello, council members and mayor. Appreciate your time here. Yes, it was really, first of all, I apologize for the ending sentence there. A thought that didn't get finished there. But in general, we were just trying to get before the council and find out if there was any interest at all in us coming up with a proposal to develop that property. And that was kind of, we spoke briefly with the city manager, and he just expressed that that's what we needed to find out, if there was any interest in the council in selling that land at all. And it is our endeavor or hope that we could purchase the property if that's something that the council was interested in, and provide some housing, provide some affordable housing, and enhance downtown and provide additional retail space down there. And the building still would contain parking. So that was just our general thoughts, and we wasn't anything nefarious about this. We were just trying to be as open as possible and ask the council if there was any interest in selling that lot at all. Thank you.
Thank you.
No other hands are raised, Mr. Mayor.
Right. Council Member Coletti.
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, there were certainly some good points raised during public comment. I think it is important to know who we're dealing with. The letter is vague. In fact, it's been changed. We got one version back on October 29th, and then there was a second version that the public then got. It's not even dated, and it doesn't mention who it's from. So, I mean, Mr. Desai, I think, spoke. I believe INP. I believe he's a principal in INP Brothers LLC that currently owns 529 Central, and then to the south there are 3 parcels that are going to be used for parking for the proposed PG Hotel. I believe he's also a principal of that land as well, and is a principal in the hotel development. So in between 529 Lighthouse and the southern parking lots that are going to serve the PG Hotel is the credit union, and then behind the credit union is this parking lot, approximately 4,500 square feet, owned by the city. Apparently, this group, the Desai Brothers et al., wish to expand 529 into this parking lot so that they can get affordable housing credits for whatever condominium project they have in mind. Typically, when you do an affordable housing project, the city retains the right retains the property and then gets a property developer interested to develop the property. I would never, ever suggest we sell anything. That's an asset that we hold on to. If they want to partner with us in developing affordable housing, and it can be proven that this is an underutilized parking lot, yeah, well, there'll be a lot of different opinions on that. Then maybe we do proceed, but there is a whole spectrum of stakeholders that have to get involved in this before we can even really seriously even consider it. There's the neighborhood, there's a local businesses. Central Avenue Pharmacy is just one that comes to mind that make use of that parking lot. This is not a question we can answer tonight. So that's just the first thing. We cannot answer the question this evening. That's my belief, period. We can start talking about maybe next steps, but we cannot answer the question that's been proposed this evening. So why not show us a concept review? It sounds like they have one. Sounds like, I don't know if there's anything, if they've developed plans or anything like that. But, there's a process for this. And, Mr. Riddell was the chair of the planning commission. He knows all this. Develop a set of plans, bring it before the city, let the planners look at it, maybe even let council look at it if you would like to make a presentation, although council wouldn't be directly involved at first. Show it to the ARB, get their feedback. So there's all these steps that, there's all these analogies that's been thrown out, it's half baked. It's certainly the cart is before the horse on this one. So let's figure out the process that this particular project needs to get plugged into and follow it and not do anything special. Let's not talk about this in secret and closed session. Let's get all the stakeholders involved and then just follow the normal process. But I don't think we can make a decision tonight. And I personally would not support selling the parking lot, which doesn't mean I wouldn't support perhaps repurposing it. Those are my initial comments, Your Honor. Thank you.
Councilmember Tomlinson.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, staff, and for bringing this item forward. It's great to be talking about an idea, and I also would like to know more information. So I think if the next steps is to have a presentation about what we're talking about, I don't even know. I need a map. I can Google it, and I have done that while we've been talking here tonight. And I know what parking lot it is. I've parked in it before. But when you talk about where the hotel's going to be, and that there's a parking lot behind that hotel, and then this is another parking lot, where are the lines? Where are the lot lines? What lot are we talking about? Is it possible to sell it? Is it possible to, deed it for use but still retain ownership? I mean, all of these things are great questions. And I think that if the question from the applicant or from the team that wants to know, is council interested in having further discussions about what's possible on that parking lot? Yes, I'm always interested in hearing about what's possible. But so if that's the simple question, then sure. But what we would like is, give us 2 or 3 or 4 different options, a map, a plan, and then let us kind of chew on that and get public input and talk about where we could head with it. So I think the simple question was, from what I heard, is are you even interested, or do you just want this to say a parking lot and not have this conversation at all? I wouldn't say that I don't want to have the conversation, but I would like to have it kind of a menu of what's possible as the next step. So hopefully that's helpful feedback. But thank you.
Councilmember Kaduri.
Thank you, Mayor. I heard the applicants on the phone during the public comment process, and I think that's where I stand with this as well, which Councilmember Tomlinson brought up. I believe the applicants are gauging the interest of the city council to see whether the city is interested to sell the land. And I would say we need to do whatever we can to prop up housing for the city. And if this is the direction that we need to go, then generally in person, I'm in favor of selling that land, depending on how it's presented and so on. But I have a couple of questions. I wanted to know, first of all, I know Baird and Driscoll has been doing a housing initiative, a housing study, and so on. Was this parcel part of that discussion process? Was this in that whole list of items that were kind of like projected to be sold or were in play to be sold? That's question one. And maybe that's for Director Hunter, because I see you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Through the mayor. That property is very small. It was not included in the housing initiative properties for potential development.
Okay, thank you. And the second, I think then I have two other questions. One is, we are going through the arena needs, which is what next month, I believe that's what's happening. We are going to be in a situation as a city to come up with more numbers to meet those arena numbers. And I think we need to do whatever we need to do to get there. So the question is really around if this was brought up in August, why is this suddenly appearing in December? Why not earlier? Why not later? Why today, for instance? I just wanted to know that. And maybe city manager, that's for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Paduri, through the mayor. Yes, this was received back in the August timeframe. Initially, we were attempting to bring this as a closed session. You may recall there were a large number of closed sessions at that time, and we just really didn't have any availability for seemingly weeks, if not months.
Okay, thank you. And the final question is really the process. I am generally want to know what the process is. If a developer or somebody expresses interest in buying a parcel or something from the city, do we not kind of like do a bid process there? Is that generally working with whoever's expressing interest to sell that land, or how is that process? How is that determined? Anybody who's interested, do we start negotiating with them, or is there a process?
Councilmember Paduri, through the mayor, the short answer is it depends. Properties sometimes only have a value or a bid value depending on if there's no entanglement. So as was pointed out in the discussion, this property, this parking lot is bound by multiple other properties. It's probably of the most use or value to the owner of 529 Central because it adjoins it, and it could be stranded. And so I don't know that if you put it out to bid, without owning that property, if it would be of much value. Also, it doesn't have any water attached to it, so it probably would be of very little value. I hope that answers your question.
Great. And maybe I have a follow-up question then, is that if you're talking about housing, and if this property is not allocated water units today, what does that exactly entail with respect to housing tomorrow? Even if we bring in plans, how is the water issue going to be addressed?
That's a great question, but that's far down the track. I think all we were trying to see with this discussion was is the city council potentially interested in pursuing something with this proposal? Obviously, there would be a lot of questions and things that would need to be addressed, but this is just a very simple beginning part of the decision tree. Are you potentially interested? Yes, no. And then, we can develop questions if you are to then bring back for consideration, but perhaps you're not. So it's just, very preliminary.
Got it. Thank you. So I'm potentially interested to explore options here. I do think that housing is like an important element that's going to like surface itself in the next few years, if not sooner. So whatever we can do to meet those arena numbers, whatever plans that we need to develop need to be in conjunction with affordable housing. So if there is a plan that is being proposed by anybody here, then it needs to account for affordable housing and what we can do there. So thank you.
Councilmember Emilio.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Emilio, you're unmuted. It appears you can start talking. Oh, he's lost. Okay.
Well, well, in the interim, waiting for Councilmember Emilio to come back. Oh, there he goes. Councilmember Emilio. And there he disappears. Okay. Well, hopefully by the time I finish, he's back online.
Sorry about that, Mayor. Zoom myself out there for a moment. Anyway, I did attend I did check that parking lot out physically. The past twice I went there. It's an unkept parking lot, and it's not like the parking lot behind the Lighthouse Cinemas. It's not that large. The most trucks I saw was trucks that were doing the condominium project at 520. There was like 3 of those, and there was one business, the upholstery guy there. He was parked there. But I do like the concept of the affordable housing. I think that's been one of our goals. I think that's very important. But I think for myself, I would like to see, what are they going to do with that? What are they going to do with that? That's maybe the next step. If these people are interested, well, maybe some preliminary plans need to go to the planning department and follow the shall we call chain of command. So that's where I'm at. I do believe that parking lot is not a major parking lot for the city. From what I saw, I was there twice, so and I saw the same thing. So that's it.
Well, I want to thank Craig Riddell and his clients for coming through with this concept, this possible discussion. So appreciate that. They had affordable housing in mind, which they know is near the top of our list of priorities. So thank you for that. And I want to address some comments by the public. You know, one of the things that council likes is to hear things, is not to be blindsided or what I would say, you know, a fully vetted project that had a lot of staff time with it, and then suddenly it's brought to city council. What we're seeing here is very early upstream of an idea, and I appreciate Mr. Harvey bringing this forward for council discussion. If you want to hear about an idea or a concept very early in the process, then you're not going to have the details. And there'll be a lot of questions. Or you can just wait until there's a tremendous amount of resources that are spent on it, and then you'll have all the details, but you'll be in the dark up till then. So I like this. I like having some ideas to kick around, even though they're not really very fleshed out. I'd like to hear them sooner rather than later. So I thank Mr. Harvey for bringing this forward. I have an agreement with a lot of the comments made, except for one. You know, Councilmember Coletti noted this parking lot's 4,500 square feet, and it's not going to have a lot of housing associated with it. And so is this a priority? And I see this as complicated because it's doesn't have water. And so possibly if we were to wanted to build on it right away, we would require working out a partnership with the adjacent property owners. And the owners of 529 Central are not typically, I don't believe, building nonprofit developer for low-income housing. And we've been hearing from Baird and Driscoll, and we know Jan Lilienthal is on our housing advisory group, and she's explained that you want affordable housing development, you get a development company in that that's done it before and knows how to go to the state and federal government and get grant funds. And then the city kicks in something, be it money or land, a parking lot. So I think this, it's got relatively small potential. It's got a number of hurdles. If I looked at all the Baird and Driscoll strategies, I'm not sure this would rise anywhere as close to the top of where we need to put our city resources at. I think it's an interesting idea, and that maybe later on it'd be worthwhile pursuing. But right now, with our limited resources and I think the number of affordable housing units we could get out of this probably pretty small. Anyhow, it's just unenthusiastic about this. At this time, I'd say pretty unenthusiastic. And selling off city property, I have a really tough time with that concept. Yeah, Councilmember Coletti.
I'll echo some really briefly. I'll echo some of your comments, Mayor. I am glad we're having this discussion. I'm particularly glad we're having the discussion in open session where it belongs. That's how we let the stakeholders, how we let the public know that these concepts are out there. And I'm not opposed to anyone coming along and offering a concept. Maybe we didn't get started out on the right foot, but maybe we are now. If we are having a concept about this, I think water is going to be the first thing we need to discuss. Just like with any development project on the peninsula for years. But that's going to be something that's going to be important. And I can understand why they want to buy the property. Well, first off, I think what's happening here is this is my opinion. I don't know for sure. We don't know anything really. It looks like they're trying to leverage a luxury condominium project and having the city help come in and help them get a couple affordable units so that they can go ahead and build their luxury condos. And and maybe that's fine, maybe not. We really need to know what we want to do here. And to do that, we need to know more about water. Perhaps if they purchase the water, then it's considered a site as far as the water district's concerned, and they can transfer water over. That's, I think, what's the city attorney could probably tell us more about that, but that's for them to go talk to them about. But I'm thinking there's a strong motivation for them to purchase this. And I don't feel particularly inclined to sell a city asset that is going to prove beneficial more and more as this PG hotel, by the way, gets built. You know, parking's going to be an important thing when that hotel gets built. So it may be underutilized now, it might not be tomorrow. So I'm not really super motivated to help get a luxury condominium project off the ground. But if they've got some plans they want to share, I'm open, and I would leave it at that. Thank you.
Mr. Harvey, we'll come back to you. Your thoughts?
Thank you, Mayor. And my appreciation for understanding just where we are in the process. You nailed it. We could probably, I think, based upon what we've heard tonight, convene a discussion with Mr. Riddell, Mr. Desai, and others, and just list out all the questions that we heard, and have them start developing some answers. I don't think that necessarily means that we're moving forward in any type of rapid pace, but at least if council wants to know more about this, some of the questions we heard tonight could be answered. If that's acceptable to the council, we could certainly do that. I don't think that would be a huge investment in time, and then we would have that information that we could come back to you with it in your future date.
I think that sounds great to me. I'm seeing heads nod.
Okay, great. We can proceed with that. So thank you for that.
All right. Well, that concludes our second meeting of the day or evening. Thank you very much, everybody. We still have some members of the public here. Thank you very much for staying with us, for staff and for council. And everybody stay safe.